Hey, my name is David Kim, Senior Game Director at Uncapped Games.
Hi, my name is Ted Park. I'm the art director of Uncapped Games.
You guys are showing Battle Aces. For people who don't know what this game is, what is Battle Aces?
Yeah, so Battle Aces is an action-packed RTS game, and our main goal is to try to create a game that is for everyone, like players that are experienced at RTS as well as players who are brand new to RTS too.
Now, you have a lot of talented developers on your team, but a lot of them are ex-Blizzard devs that worked on StarCraft and the Warcraft series. Talk about what that brings when you're making an RTS in 2024.
Yeah, so personally, I strongly believe making something great is all about kind of like ironing out the final polish kind of thing, right? So with our kind of lessons learned from StarCraft or other RTS games, because we have a lot of people from various RTS companies that are at Uncapped Games, such as like Relic Entertainment, BBI, etc., right?
Relic,
yeah, right? So our goal is to use kind of combined knowledge and iterate together to make something great, and eventually we can make a great RTS kind of thing. Yeah.
You just showed me the demo and playing the game. You really did a good job at doing that classic thing of cutting out all the unnecessary, I would say tedious or like micromanaging stuff and just focusing on core gameplay.
Yeah, for sure. That was actually our main goal. We wanted to remove the tedious clicks required to play an RTS and focus on the fun, and not just that, but we wanted to amplify what's fun. So how we define fun is things like the strategy, the unit countering, the out-of-game thought process, etc., right? So we try to amplify all of these things and then make everything else that's a little tedious either removed or reduced kind of thing. Yeah.
For the young people who don't know that, StarCraft 2 was a very good game, but it was very complicated and very technical, which is what made it great to watch. I loved playing it, but I was terrible at it for that reason.
Yeah, for sure, right? So for example, I want to say a lot of, like, I love StarCraft 2 also, right? It's my favorite game of all time out of all the games that are released right now, right? But the difficulty is, when I think about it, a game that requires like 200-300 APM to be able to experience kind of the fun side of it, that's really not for everyone though, right? So our
clicks per minute ratio, there was a bunch of weird stuff at the end there that got really Excel sheety.
Yeah. But like, if you just kind of think about it simply, how many players are playing StarCraft 2 because they love, like, oh, I love clicking and making a worker once every 12 seconds out of every single command center, and not only that, once they come out, I gotta set them to the right resource patch, all this stuff, right? Or are they playing for that army versus army commander fantasy, right? And I want to believe that majority gamers out there will be more attracted to a more like action-focused game, army versus army game. And how many army commander fantasy games are there out there? Like, there's not many, right?
Big hitters, but like that's about it. Age of Empires 9 or whatever they're on now, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right. So we really wanted to kind of hit that goal. Yeah.
So, you guys went with a sci-fi visual aesthetic. What made you decide to go that route instead of fantasy?
So we obviously have many paths we could choose from. It's a brand new IP, a brand new studio. Yeah, we kind of felt the sci-fi area kind of gave us a wider horizon for where we could go in the future. We're also a little bit less capped about what kind of ideas we could pursue in making this game. So the sci-fi aesthetic, it's something that we love. Our concept artist who create the unit designs just loves robots, loves a lot of other things when he designs our units. So it's just something that we felt was very appealing, and it's something that we felt like not a lot of, like with MOBAs and other very successful products kind of sitting in the fantasy space, I felt like this would be a good opportunity to kind of explore.
One thing I think the young generation doesn't understand is the importance of the visual aesthetic of a unit, looking at it and knowing exactly what you're controlling or exactly what's attacking it. Can you talk about that process and why it's important in design?
Oh yeah, it's very important, especially with RTSs. There's a fixed camera, there's a fixed view. You have to be very intentional with readability, silhouettes, and then directionality of units. So we concentrate a lot of the way we make our units to kind of fulfill all those functions, but we also kind of want to pursue unique silhouettes and unique designs as well too. We're trying to establish a brand new IP. It can't be too derivative of other things, hopefully, and we want something to be recognizable that's specific to our game, essentially. So yeah, we've tried our best to kind of carve our own lane aesthetically.
So for the veteran RTS players out there, you have all those core elements. Can you talk about how you streamlined them and made them faster, like building, expanding, and just spawning units?
Yeah, for sure. So we have a lot of things that we've added, which might not be noticeable at a glance. But for example, we have workers, we have expanding, we have teching, we have all the core RTS elements that makes up an RTS. But our goal is just, can we do these things in a way that an average PC gamer can easily learn to play, right? And I want to say this weekend is a great example of this. So things like, I guess, specifically automated workers, one-click expansion, one-click teching, all these kind of add up to it. And what it adds up to is our main goal of easy to learn, right? So this whole weekend, I want to say maybe 80-90% of the people that came by to play our game, they've never played RTS before. But they're learning all of the basics and executing some advanced strategies in some cases in a matter of like 2 or 3 games, right? That's unheard of in an RTS kind of thing, right? And then on the flip side, we do want to kind of have a game that's impossible to master too. And this, I feel like we've proven out during the alpha stages when, say, like the topmost professional RTS players have played, they're saying stuff like, I didn't really see it when I saw this game at a glance, but the more that I play, the more mastery there is, right? So we really wanted to hit both sides of the spectrum, I guess, yeah.
Now you don't have heroes in the game, but you have kind of hero-like boss units that are late game enter units. Talk about that.
Yeah, so we wanted to design units that are as different as possible and as unique as possible kind of thing, right? So how it kind of started was like, oh, we should have some capital units, capital ship units. So we added the units like the Cap Bus, which you can see in the demo, or heavy ballista, things like that, right? And then we wondered, because this is a unit deck-based game, we can actually have these guys be very strong. So like in the past, if you look at RTS games that are more competitive, then there's a high restriction. If, say, like battle cruisers are used a little too often in a certain matchup, then the game might just turn out a little bit more boring because they cost so much supply, etc.
Or there's units that just don't see play because they're not good.
Absolutely, right? But the advantage that we have with the unit deck system is all of these guys can be good as long as there's a counter for it. Then players can learn to kind of deal with those units accordingly. So we can have a much more, I guess, variety, higher variety in units kind of thing, right? And so a long way to say, and then we thought to ourselves, can we go really extreme and maybe even have like a hero unit, right? So we had the Kraken. So all the units in our game are like 100 cost or 250 cost or 500 at the most, right? And then the Kraken is like a 6,000 resource cost. And so you can kind of see the scale difference, right? And the supply count is like 80. So you can take on like 100 supply worth of units using the Kraken kind of thing, as long as you have the right counters, etc. So we really wanted to lean in on the cool parts of, I guess, both in and out of game strategizing kind of thing.
It reminds me of StarCraft 2 where you had there were rush builds, or you could go late game build. Like those were two different paths you could take.
Yeah. But way more amplified than that kind of thing, right? So there's so many different ways to rush. There's so many different ways to like timing push. There's so many different ways to go for the late game, etc. And the key here is all of these units that we have, we can make them useful kind of thing. Yeah.
So where can people find more information about your game? Do you guys plan early access?
Yeah. So playbattleaces.com is where players can find more information, and also they can sign up for the closed beta, which is starting very soon in, I want to say, 3 weeks or so. Yeah.